So tell us a little bit about how you think we should be thinking about the market today.
Well,
and how are you going to go about helping us understand what the market really is in San Antonio?
okay, there's a couple of, I think, important elements here that I'll set the stage, or the table, if you will. One of them is there's a difference between a market study and a market strategy. A market study is essentially a formula. It's demand less supply equals unserved increment, whether it's retail or office or housing. It's a formula, and it's not rocket science. That tells a community what they can get. The market strategy, on the other hand, says what is it that the community wants to achieve. The market research then in turn says these are the probable outcomes, and then what we have to do is we have to fill the gap between the hope and the possible, and we do that with creative planning, we do that with public-private partnering, and so on. So it's a way of enabling that which the community really wants as opposed to that which the community could settle for based on traditional market opportunity. That's one part of it. Another part of it is the aberration that we're in right now because of the global recession. And so on the one hand, if we looked at the market 30 months ago, pre-recession, we would have had a distorted view of the world. Money was cheap, lending practices were sort of unprecedented in terms anybody could get a loan, and as a result, we're in the position that we're in today. If we looked at the market today, we have a reverse aberration, which is that today it's very hard to borrow money, it's very hard to get equity to developers, and we would have a very distorted sort of reduced opportunity perspective. And so the problem then is how do we forecast in this fog? We could take the baseline from 2004 to 2006 and use that as a midpoint going forward. And that's not a bad place to start, which is when we come out of the recession, money's going to be tighter, the market's likely to be more discerning in terms of how they use credit and cash. Units are probably going to be smaller. We're getting some indicators that this is happening in various segments of the marketplace. But we need some kind of a baseline. We also need to look at what has happened in San Antonio historically, what sort of products have been accepted, what has succeeded and what hasn't. That's all good information as part of the market research. The market strategy is going to take that then together with good design and good planning, and we're going to figure out how to maximize that which we find, and then we'll have to identify the tools that we're going to use to ratchet up to the market strategy. At the same time that it's very difficult to get precise numbers right now, we can as a team look at what I call the rules and principles of real estate. How does real estate behave? Okay, so if we look at the rules and principles of how markets behave, retail, for example, has a set of rules, and when they're violated, they usually underperform. Retail needs exposure, it needs visibility. That's why so much retail has to be anchored with a good, strong tenant that will allow the small shops to succeed. It needs visibility, it needs traffic, etc. Office needs certain kinds of conditions and certain locational opportunities, access to banking, access to food, office services, and so on. And housing, urban housing, we've been involved, I think, in probably more than 100,000 urban housing units in a lot of cities. Housing is something that I think does extremely well when projects collect together, and we don't build projects, we build communities. And by building a community, I think what we'll find in San Antonio, for example, just my limited time there and some of the research I've done online suggests that urban housing is in fact advancing in San Antonio. But by and large, it's a single project by itself at a specific location. And what we need to do, if we're going to have successful urban placemaking with housing as a driver, is we've got to create a collection of projects, 3, 5, 7 projects all at the same time. Maybe it's 5 acres, maybe it's 7 acres, but it's a sense of community, a sense of place. And so somebody comes into that market, into that opportunity area, they may not like building A, but they like building C or D. And it's a way of creating instant community. I mean, Urban housing is the province of 1 and 2 person households. America is aging. Many people are looking for that urban experience, but may not have the right product opportunity. This is where we move from market research to market strategy. Sorry,
Right.
I get excited about this stuff.
Right. No, I can feel your excitement. And that's what we want to convey.
So there's just some fundamental things that we've learned over the years that are portable from one community to another, and then we have to figure out how to put it in place in the most creative way. We have to find developers who are willing to take a piece of it. It's not necessary for one developer to build it all. In fact, there's some reasons why we want to encourage multiple developers to be active on the site at the same time.
Right.